Were they depressed?
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie placing himself squarely in the middle of the state's budget controversy. Opponents say that his suggested changes will harm the middle class. The governor says tough fiscal measures are the only way forward. He's here with us right now to talk about his budget plan and the fiscal state of New Jersey. Governor Chris Christie. Governor, thank you for coming in today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, you dropped your budget yesterday, and you said you were going to be making some waves, and sure enough, you are. I printed out stuff from across the state papers. Tuition hikes, service cuts likely at state colleges. The budget cuts $820 million in state aid. We're guinea pig. Christie's trickle-down experiment. Hundreds of teachers tell you that you're no Robin Hood, and Governor Chris Christie to the suburbs just dropped dead. You are making waves with this budget.
Yeah, things are going well.
We knew you were going to be pushing this, but did you expect this much backlash?
Sure. I mean, if you're going to cut over $10 billion in state spending to special interests who have been used to feeding at the trough for government for years and years and years in New Jersey, of course they're going to get angry and they're going to push back. But I wasn't elected by them. I was elected by people who were tired of having New Jersey being an economic laughingstock across the country, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it over the next 4 years, and candidly, I don't care whether I get reelected or not. I was sent here to change something. I'm going to change it.
There are no argument that people don't want to see bloated governments and waste, but there's also the argument that in a situation this dire, you're going to inevitably end up cutting some very valuable meat off the bone, too, not just fat.
Sure you are. I mean, listen, you can't cut $10 billion and not cut some valuable programs. But the fact is, we have the highest marginal tax rates in America. We have the second highest sales tax in America. We have the sixth highest corporate business tax rate in America. And we have the highest property taxes in America. So I think the revenue side we've maxed out. It's time for us to start cutting back what we spend, and that's what I was sent there to do.
One of these articles says that under this proposal that property taxes could go up in some of the suburban areas.
Not if they pass my Proposition 2.5, which would be a constitutional cap on property tax increases of no more than 2.5% per year. I've asked the legislature to pass it statutorily until it goes on the ballot in November, and then the voters will be in control again of their property taxes, because if a town wants to go over a 2.5% increase, they have to put it on the ballot, and the voters get to vote yes or no.
If I'm a household and I'm in financial distress, one option is to cut my spending. The other is to go get another part-time job, right? Your argument is we're already 100 hours a week. Yeah. We can't go out and raise more revenue.
No, we can't. I mean, go again, top highest marginal rate, second highest sales tax, highest property taxes, sixth highest corporate business tax. We cannot go any longer and create jobs. Think about this. In 2009, New Jersey lost 121,000 private sector jobs. Just in 2009, we added 11,300 jobs at the municipal and school board level. Now, we can't continue that way. That curve cannot continue to be inverted in that way. If we raise taxes, they're going to be.
I think you know exactly what you're doing. You're maybe people call you crazy, but it's crazy like a fox at this point. You're going to get a lot of criticism for this, but you're also going to become a sort of by the Tea Party people. There's a current move in this country that is. Really looking for someone, almost a hero to step in as far as deficits go and as far as spending too much. And I think you're tapping into that. I think you know exactly what you're doing.
Well, what I'm doing is what I promised to do when I ran. Hey, listen,
are you worried it's going to hurt you, or do you know that this is probably going to end up helping you? Even
I don't know how
the tougher you look, the more you're going to play into this discontent that's nationwide.
Well, it's not about looking tough. It's about being tough. And in the end of the day, cutting $10 billion of spending. Think of this. I also froze, as you remember, the last time I was here, $2.2 billion in spending for this year. So we've now cut in 8 weeks. I was governor 8 weeks yesterday. $13 billion in state spending. That's $9 million an hour since I've been governor. It's about being tough, not just about looking tough. And candidly, here's the thing. The voters had a choice in November. They had a liberal, tax and spend Democrat as governor, running against someone who said I was going to cut spending, cut taxes, and rein in government. The voters made a choice, and it wasn't close. And so now it's my job to do what I said I was going to do, no matter what garbage I take from folks who write in the newspapers.
There's going to be a similar choice in this coming November. Only it's going to be
I'm not on the ballot, though, John. Don't worry about that.
Nationwide, and I think you're tapping into something that's. I mean, people say they're outliers and that they're wing nuts or whatever, but we'll see.
Are there arenas where some of these programs, whether it be school aid, whether it be hospitals, whether it be after-school programs, whatever situation it may be. Obviously, there are a lot of state residents who are in dire straits when you look at unemployment, when you look at all these issues. Are there places where you can see bringing back some of those programs down the road?
Well, Becky, there's some that I didn't cut the programs this time. In fact, increased funding. Aid to hospitals is increased by $60 million in this budget directly on charity care to take care of our most disadvantaged. We didn't cut that program.
Okay, I thought that it was originally going to be cut by 4.3%.
Well, that's what people talked about, but I reversed that and said we're going to raise that by $60 million because I'm concerned about making sure that the most disadvantaged get health care and have access to health care in our state. We also didn't cut funding to food banks. You know, we're having an enormous rise in people having to access food banks because they're unemployed, and I don't want people going hungry in New Jersey. So we kept level the funding to food banks. So there's certain areas where we took priorities on those vulnerable in our society, and not only didn't cut, but expanded money there. It's about making priority choices. Now, I don't have a lot of money to be able to do anything that I want in terms of expanding a lot, but access to hospitals, you know, we need to make sure people can get health care, and we raised that by 6